Good morning. You're watching Times TV's Lunchtime Live. Average SME contribution to GDPs across economies right now is between 50 and 55%. With 27,000 registered SMEs in Oman today, I would say we are kind of going on the right track. And with me today is Khalid Al-Haribi, the acting CEO of Riyadة, the public authority for SME development. Hello Khalid, thank you for joining us today.
Hello, and thank you for this interview.
Right, so Khalid, how long have you been associated with Riyadة for?
I've been a bit more than a year and a half, and it's been quite a fascinating journey.
Right, brilliant. So in the last year and a half, have you ever felt that you wanted to start your own business?
The reason that I've joined Riyadة is that I have an experience as an entrepreneur in the past.
Oh, brilliant.
And I think this is very important for someone who's working for the body that's working with entrepreneurs, to have a little bit of an experience of what it means to be in this.
But well, how was your experience? Was it good or bad?
It was very exciting, and if I had the chance, I would do it all over again. It's exciting. There are new things and new challenges that you have to overcome every day. All over the world, the entrepreneurship sphere is. There are so many new things, so it keeps you always on the edge of your seat.
Right.
Quite a fascinating journey, and I would really like to encourage people at least to get to know the world of entrepreneurship.
Right, so we know that Riyadة is a public authority for SMEs, but can you tell us the functions of this organization?
Sure, we're quite a very unique and fascinating body. We're the only government body in Oman that was established after a stakeholder engagement. So in 2013, over 3,000 stakeholders in Oman, average citizens, senior officials, people from the private sector, international experts and consultants came together to recommend to the highest authority and to His Majesty the way forward for SMEs. And one of those decisions was establishing an SME authority.
Right.
So we're the only.
This
was in mid 2013.
Okay.
So we were established in June of 2013 by Royal Decree 36.
Right.
And in that year, and it makes us very special. We're the only body in Oman where the decision came after a very careful deliberation, back and forth between 3,000 people. So since then, our main job and function has been in our name. How to inspire success for the purpose of SME development.
Is that your tagline?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are responsible for more than 90% of the commercially registered organizations.
Wow, that's a huge percentage.
That's how many SMEs is, and this is in line with the global average.
Okay.
The global average is over 90% of any commercially registered organizations in a given country. So in Oman, that same percentage is true. It holds.
Like globally, is there just one body looking after it, or are there many bodies looking after it?
Yes, usually in every country there is what they call a small business administration authority. So in Oman, we are that small business administration. There are in countries they're called the SME fund. In some countries they're called the SME administration. So in Oman, we are the Small and Medium Enterprises Authority, but it is the same function.
But we also have an SME development fund in Oman, right?
Yes.
But that's different.
Yes. So what's unique about us is that we are the facilitators of the regulations of all the SME supporting organizations.
Right.
So there are around 57 members of the SME support environment, our ecosystem.
Okay.
Our main function is how do we make sure that we facilitate regulations that inspire everyone who's interested in the sphere of SME development and entrepreneurship to enter the sphere in a way that contributes back to the economy in terms of GDP contribution and most importantly in terms of jobs.
All right. So I would like to know from you that when it comes to segregations, you don't have SME classifications, but you have SME faces. I would want to understand that a little bit.
So we have globally also, there are both. SME classification depends on your your manpower, your human resources, and your sales.
Okay.
And there are also SME fees that depends on each country's strategy and what makes each country unique.
Right. So what is Oman's strategy?
So all over the world, since the beginning, since January of 2016, there has been one classification of SMEs.
Okay.
That classification says that if you are just a small business owner and have up to 5 employees, and your sales are up to 100,000 Riyal Omani, then you are a micro business.
Right.
You're officially a micro business. If you grow a little and you have between 5 up to 25, and your sales are between, say, 100,000 Riyal Omani up to 500,000 Riyal Omani, then you are classified officially as a small business.
Okay.
If you grow more and if you are between 25 up to 99 employees, and your sales are between 500,000 Riyal Omani and up to 3 million Riyal Omani, then you are a medium enterprise.
Right.
So our job is to take care of those enterprises that are less than 100 employees, and in revenue and sales they are less than 3 million Riyal Omani.
Right.
And we are the official body that is responsible to keep a database of everyone that fits in within that classification, and we invite them all to register in a special register.
But there is a difference between classification and the phases.
Yes. So for those enterprises that are less than 100 employees and less than 3 million Riyal Omani in sales, how do we classify these services for them? And the idea is that enterprises are like human beings. They are born, they grow, then they mature, and then they need to be reincarnated and renovated.
Right.
And this is how we strategically classified our services to those classified SMEs. So if you are just growing, the most important thing for an enterprise when it's born is the right entrepreneurship culture and values.
Okay.
So the first type of services are the services of that are related to instilling the right entrepreneurship culture and ideas. Incubation
but is there
services.
An entrepreneurship culture in Oman right now?
Yes,
a prevalent one.
we have this is something that we have inherited from our forefathers. We have had a tough geography. Have had desert, mountains, rough seas.
Yeah.
So naturally, what's an entrepreneur? And an entrepreneur is someone who overcomes challenges. So we have had this over our parents were they had to farm this sometimes arid land. They had to fish in rough seas. They had to kind of adapt the mountains. So there is that entrepreneurial values in our. We need to renovate those values, and these are our first types of services, cultivate services that are aimed primarily at making sure that people have the right entrepreneurial culture and values.
Right.
Once we make sure that that's there, then the second type of services or the second phase is the startup phase.
Okay.
How do you start up? What licenses, what permits do you need in all from all the support organizations? Do you have the right training? Do you have the right feasibility study? So it's very important to make, we have teams, not only in Riyadh, but in the 57 supporting organizations that work on feasibility studies, that work on facilitating the right permits and licenses.
But again, is that the biggest challenge that Oman faces right now when it comes to regulations, which is extremely difficult and tough right now? So do you call that a challenge for you as Riyadh, as an organization?
We see it as a balance, because for us, we want to make sure that it's not only to have the right financing. We want to make sure that you have the right permits.
Okay.
For example, if you're running a manufacturing service, it is very important for us to make sure that there is a thorough process for you to get your health and safety and environmental permits. At the end of the day, we are looking for sustainability.
Right.
Is it in the best interest of a nation for us to make all the permits are done in one day?
Okay.
But we discover later that there was a flaw in the process.
But
so we're trying to balance between those two things, the ease of doing business, but at the same time, the sustainability.
Right, but do you think this discourages a lot of new people who want to start up their businesses because of the tedious processes?
It's a filtration process. The ones who really have what it takes to become an entrepreneur, these challenges will not be an obstacle to them, because we have done comparative studies with countries in the region.
Yeah.
And we found that the regulations in Oman are on par with the regulations, a facility of ease of doing business.
Right.
For example, things have improved, whereas in the past it could have taken weeks to get your commercial registration.
Right. So
right now it can take only a few minutes.
Sure.
So this is why the second phase is the startup phase, to make sure that you have not only the training and the financing, but that you know what licenses and permits do you need to start properly your business.
Right, so since you're talking about a comparative study, there was a recent survey done, and I'm not sure how true it is, that Oman ranked 149th out of the 189 economies when it comes to ease of starting up a business. So do you think after Riyadh and after the introduction of so many SMEs in the country, the ranking has become better?
Yes, I mean, to be honest, it's very important to know our ranking comparing to the other countries, but we know what is happening actually in the ground. We know that through Invest Easy, you can start your business within a few minutes. And there are over 200 commercial activities that you can start without having an additional license or permit.
Right, so when you're talking about this, I would like to know that Instagram businesses and social media businesses, will that also come under this, what you're saying?
There are many of them that are already a part of the formal economy, but there are many of them are also very creative, but their business only exists in social media.
Right.
Our strategic direction is that we need to attract them as much as we can to the formal economy and to register, whether with us or with the other authorities as well. And this is why the third phase is very important. We're hoping that the way to attract people is by having contracts. So the third phase is the power-up phase, and that phase is to have the right link between the micro and small businesses and the large companies.
Okay,
and
both private and public sector.
Yes.
Okay.
And with very important target. How do you get enough contracts to create more jobs? So this is one of the most important phases that we have for SMEs.
Right, so according to a new rule, 10% of all government contracts have to go to small units.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, and it's even more than that. It is not less than 10%.
Okay.
Of the procurement of government units.
So that's minimum 10%?
Yes, minimum 10%, and also from the fully owned government companies.
Right.
And this is that what we are working almost on daily basis, and we have teams that are dedicated. Any public entity or any government company or any private sector entity that would like to be linked to a more efficient and more cost-effective micro and small businesses, we have a team dedicated to facilitate that connection for you.
Right.
A lot of people, especially in the private sector, they're not making use of this service. But we have special services that are called the power-up services, that there's a team that their job is only to link you to the small and medium enterprises that can make your supply chain less costly and more sustainable and more local. And this is why ICV is very important.
But from the government point of view, I would like to know, is it difficult? Is it like an imposition for them when it comes to, giving 10% or a minimum of 10% to SMEs? Is it difficult for them to find these SMEs?
Yes, there are some entities that see this as a burden.
Yeah.
But we have seen this that as it's a very important point that contributes to a very important factor, the in-country value, or what is called the ICV.
Okay.
All organizations they have a business objective of increasing their contribution to where they work. And this is why we encourage them that, linking with SMEs help you in the 7 pillars of the in-country value. They help you create more jobs locally. That's having a very significant contribution to the economy, and it helps balance between your international components, because in Oman we are in a country very historically has had a very healthy balance of an expat population.
Diverse culture.
So in-country value helps to keep that balance as well, and to keep the talent pipeline.
So the Omanization rules don't apply to SMEs?
The Omanization rules are relaxed for the first 2 years, and then they apply normally. But our main point is that even with the nationalization of the workforce, it's not about the nationalization of the sake of nationalization. It's the nationalization for the sake of having the right talent for the economy to grow healthy-wise.
Right.
So in-country value is about creating jobs. It's about making sure you have a list of local suppliers. It's about having a list of local vendor of services, local vendors of products, and about if that is not available, finally the in-country value, make sure that you focus some of your resources to researching. If your business right now does not have the right suppliers or local workforce, can you make a study on how do we develop this in the next few years? Our interests are the same as the business interest, whether it's by using local workforce or local products or local services. The idea is not to add a burden on the economy or the private sector. The government's job is to facilitate this. So we make sure that we just want to supply you with the talents, whether local or international, that help you grow and contribute to the GDP as well.
That's brilliant. So Khalid, again, Riyadh is coming up with a new SME strategy for the coming years. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, right now we have an institutional strategy. It is not yet a national strategy for SMEs. So far we have exceeded our initial targets for 2020. By the year 2020, initially, we've had an institutional strategic objective or a target to reach registering or convincing 25,000 small and medium enterprises to register with us.
Okay.
So far.
So how do you do that? Is there a survey that you conduct?
Yeah, we have a full media and marketing team that publishes all the 41 decisions that should attract SMEs to register with us.
Right.
So we were supposed to reach this target by 2020, but by 2017 we've already exceeded the 25,000 SMEs registered.
That's great
We're
news.
approaching 27,000 now.
Okay.
Out of those 27,000, we're approaching 14,000 people who quit and who are dedicated to their businesses. So these are around 14,000 jobs that were directly created only by Riyadة.
Okay.
Not to mention the rest of the 57 members of the small medium enterprises ecosystem. So these are the targets of 2020, and now we're working on revamping those targets to reflect not only what one organization achieves in terms of job creation, but the other financing organizations, the other educational organizations, and what are they contributing. And we're glad that we've already exceeded the initial targets.
Right, so you're talking about the targets being exceeded, which is great news. But again, the first quarter of this year saw a dip in SMEs by 31%.
Yes.
So why did that happen, or were you surprised by the numbers?
No, not at all. Because for us, since our establishment now, we've just celebrated our 4th year. We have seen a fluctuation that corresponds with the market needs. So
the economic downturn did affect it.
Yes, and what is more important to us is the type of organizations rather than the number.
Okay.
So it's true we have our number targets to exceed 25,000, which is already achieved. Now, since we have achieved that, that tells us that the market, large companies, the demand side, is not more concerned about the number of small businesses that apply for tenders or projects. They are more concerned about the quality of the work within there, and this is very important for us and all the supporting organizations. To look out of those 27,000 the number that we're approaching, how many of them can execute a manufacturing project well? How many of them we can say these are a top tourism company that can participate in Dubai Expo?
Right.
Or how many of them are sport management organizations, companies that can participate in Qatar World Cup 2022? Right now we are shifting our key performance indicators. So not only we will reflect for 2018, we will shift the focus from the number of organizations, whether it went up or down, to how many of them are winning national and international contracts.
Right, so again, Qatar World Cup 2020 is something that we're all interested in. So how important a role is the SMEs in Oman playing in that?
Yes, we are working with what is called in Qatar the concerned committees, the Qatari Committee of Legacy and Projects, who are in charge of Qatar World Cup 2022. They have published an invitation to Omani small and medium enterprises in collaboration with us and with Omani enterprises, and we were very lucky that even though we are still in 2017 and the World Cup is 2020-22, we've already seen 4 Omani micro businesses actually who won contracts related to sport management in the and we're hoping that this number will double by the end of this year, and hopefully by 20 as we approach 2022, we will have more than 20 Omani SMEs working directly with the Committee of Legacy and Projects on Qatar World Cup.
That's brilliant. Omani SMEs are actually going global right now.
It's very exciting, and so far the feedback that we have received from the authorities in Qatar that they are very pleased with the performance of the Omani micro businesses.
Right, but Khalid, help me understand how important a role SMEs play in tourism, because these are the 2 sectors that Tanfeed has been actively promoting.
Yes, so we're working with the implementation support and follow-up unit, or Tanfeed.
Yeah.
We are working with them on enhancing job creation through small and medium enterprises in 3 different sectors: manufacturing, tourism, and logistics.
Right.
And we've together established a program that is called Catalyst program, or Catalyst Initiative, in collaboration with the Ministry of Manpower, with the ISFU, and with other organizations as well. And in the tourism sector, for example, we are studying an investment map in all the 11 governorates in Oman. And we are encouraging job seekers in particular to establish startups that are where the studies show that there is revenue.
Right.
For example, in the Dhafar, we are working with Dhafar municipality, with the Ministry of Tourism, to make sure, for example, that mobile trucks and units attract tourists, and thus creating jobs for Omanis.
But again, coming to different regions, do you think that Riyadh or the SMEs are just concentrating on Muscat and Dhofar? Because when it comes to the declining numbers, there was a huge decline in numbers in Batna and Dakhilia and Buremi.
This is an issue where we need improvement. So far, the capital is attracting more businesses, and this is why the board of Riyadh emphasized, especially in June, that we need to enhance our social inclusion strategic directive.
Okay, so that is a part of your strategy?
And we've started implementing it already.
Okay.
We've collaborated with our sister financing organization, Al Rafid Fund, where we will have representatives in their branches, and we're starting with Al Buremi, for example, where we did not have representation in 2016 and 2017. Now there is a Riyadh representative sitting with our sister financing organization, Al Rafid Fund. And the idea is that we will roll this service to each of the governorates in Oman, and the idea is to create that balance that you've just talked about. And the aim is more social inclusion. Right.
Thank you so much. That's great to hear, and all the initiatives are really commendable. And thank you for giving us your time today. And thank you for watching Times TV's Lunchtime Live.